Good morning, you fine, beautiful badasses. It's 9 o'clock. Friday, September 27th. Let's get it on. Let's do great things. Let's get the blood flowing. Let's get the mind churning. Let's share the good word. Here we go. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Friday, September 27th, 9 a.m. U.S. Central. Where you at? Where's my West Coast people at? Where are my overseas people at? Where are my people that are right down the road at? Good morning. Whoop, that's not all. We pressed the wrong button there for a second. We're not quitting yet. We are just getting started today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My friends, Friday, September 27th, 9 a.m. Central. You have joined me. I am your host today, Patrick Almond, with Stop Doing Nothing Media, a marketing agency here in Oklahoma City, where we love to talk about marketing. We talk about HighLevel. We love to talk about CRMs, lead generation. But in general, we just like to talk about life and business. I always have an agenda, but I also want to hear what's on your mind. So if there's anything on your mind today that you're struggling with when it comes to, life or business or how to do something, or, just even this game of business, if you want to talk about how to even get into this game of business, boy, do I have some lessons for you. Okay. I've been at this since, it's 2024, right? So I started my business in I believe it was like October of 1998 is when I started mine, and no formal business training, no business degree, no college classes on business even, okay? I came up the rough way, which is what part of the show is going to be about. It's coming up the rough way, coming up the hard way, putting your back into it, putting your shoulder into it when you don't have the formal training, or you weren't taught, at 7 or 8 years old how to run a lemonade stand. Some of us didn't have, those benefits or those I hate to use the word privileges because they're just some things that deserve because you had good parents and you had good community. So the word privileges to me, I guess it's a word you can use, but whatever. I wish I had had that in my youth, but I didn't. So I've been shouldering my way through it. So if you are somebody who is just starting a business, or someone who's just starting a business, and you want to basically, encourage them or basically get them the basics of what they need to succeed, send them my way. We'll do a live Q&A, or whenever any questions are dropped in the comments, I pop those up on the screen and we talk through them. I'll interrupt whatever is on my mind to make sure you get started in business and do it the right way. And the same is true for marketing questions. I've been doing this digital marketing thing a long time. I mean, you kids these days, you lucky young kids, you've got the WordPresses and you've got the Squarespaces and the Wixes to build your website where you can just drag stuff over. I cut my teeth on the old school stuff where I had to open up Notepad and get really good at HTML codes. So yeah, we can just talk tech and business all day long. Yeah, for those of you just joining us, or for my first time viewers, thank you for watching. We have a really cool thing, by the way, nowadays, that if you go over to this show is live many places, but one of them is YouTube, and I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel. So if you go over and subscribe on YouTube, your name will pop up on the screen. So I see I've got people watching on Instagram. I've got people on Facebook. I've got different people. We've got Twitch here. We've got all these different places that we're feeding. So, but if you haven't subscribed on YouTube and you want to, because you're spending on time on YouTube anyways, if you're going to waste time on YouTube, why not waste it with me versus somebody else, right? So do that, and your name will pop up on the screen here. So yeah, like I said, my name is Patrick Allman. I run Stop Doing Nothing Media here in Oklahoma City. We are a lead generation marketing automation firm, which means if you're a company that needs more leads in your business and you want them to be qualified better and you want to automate more of your business, whether it's internal processes or external processes, so you can scale faster, you can scale more without having to, buy a downtown skyscraper or get a bunch of staff. We're the place to come to. That's when people come to us. So when they've tried using tech tools to grow and scale their business, and they just give up. They just throw their hands up in the air and they say, I have no idea how to do this stuff. I just want to do my thing. I just want to be a public speaker. I just want to be a coach. I just want to run my massage business. I just want to run my jewelry store. I just want to run my gym. I just want to do my coaching and clients. I don't want to have to worry about how to get all those people, all that stuff in the door. We are the company you come to if you are that way, where you want to kind of get rid of the tech stuff and dump it on a company right there. Because my team and I, we love this stuff. We eat this stuff up for lunch. So reach out sometime. And by the way, there's the number on the screen if you ever need anything from us, 405-217-4752. You can text that number. You can say, hey, Patrick, I was watching on the show. I'm pulling out my hair. I can see you pulled out all of your hair. And we just need some help, Patrick. Come hang out with us at our business, or get us on a Zoom session where we can teach you something. We will gladly do that. We will gladly do that. Your reminder, I've got a list of reminders that I like to kind of cover every single day. Your reminder today is to make sure that in this day, in this hour, okay, that you have some kind of thing that you are aiming for. And I prefer quantifiable things, okay? And my goal here is to make sure that you have goals. You hear that all the time. Make sure you have goals. Make sure you have goals. Blah, 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 blah. Make sure you have goals, right? Well, what does that mean? It means that every single hour, or most hours of every day, every week, every month, you have something you are aiming for, okay? Whether it is a fitness journey, whether it's a weight loss thing, whether it's a health thing, whether it's a business thing, everything that you're doing is kind of pushing you down the railroad tracks to get to that thing, okay? That's the way I like to live my life, and I'm pretty confident that I'm there most of the time. Even things like this live. There's a reason I do this live 3 times a week, 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, there's a reason I do it. It's good for marketing. It's good for business. It makes sure that I produce my content. And I was at a mastermind session here in Oklahoma City the other day, where I was talking to a bunch of ladies, and they're just having trouble like scheduling and creating content. And I said my solution is to basically light my feet on fire and say, I'm going to do this thing on these days at this time. And I'm taking these Saturday Night Live the Lorne Michaels methodology, which is, you know what? I said I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to create my live interactive content that I can repurpose into other things. That content is going into growing my YouTube channel to, I wouldn't mind having 1 million followers, but right now I'm just trying to get to 1,500. So that is my goal. That's the reason you see me on camera right now. That's the reason I got up, I showered, I shaved. I've got a shiny head for you. Is it pretty shiny? Yeah, I've got a shiny head for you. So there's a reason that I press the go live button, that I turn on the lights, that I pulled the microphone over from the side, and that I'm doing this, okay? And then when I get done, I will have a purpose for the next thing after that, and the next thing after that, and over and over and over. So please make sure that everything you do today in your life is driving towards something. That way you're always on a path to something greater, okay? And if you don't, you just wander, okay? And I've had days like this in business where I just didn't plan. I didn't think ahead, and I just wandered. And it's very easy in business because you can do a lot of busy work and feel like you're accomplishing a lot. You can spend like 2 hours rearranging your folders, connecting new social media, reading up on YouTube videos, listening to podcasts. You can be very busy in business and not be making forward progress, and not be aiming towards the goal. Especially in this world of digital marketing, there is no shortage of people like me creating content. Consume a little bit of content, but then actually go out there and apply it and use it in your business. And if you don't, you know what happens? You know what happens if you wander all day and you waste time and you don't really aim for something? You end up being the subject of somebody else's priorities. Um, what happened here? Oh, something just came up. LinkedIn. Okay. Karen, good to see you. Begin with the end in mind. Exactly. Karen, there's Karen's comment right there on the screen. Karen, I appreciate that. That's a very good way to look at it. Another way to look at it, which I was just talking about there for a second, is you actually end up being the subject of somebody else's priorities. If you don't, what was I saying? Oh, if you don't basically lay out your own path, somebody will come along and they will put you on their path. Okay. If somebody's running a multi-million-dollar company, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just want you to know this is what happens. We've made life so it kind of can run on autopilot. You don't have to work that hard to do certain things, okay? You don't have to work that hard to get a job, to pay your bills. I mean, that stuff is all fine and dandy. It's easy to do. But if you are the kind of person who wants to forge your own path, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to run a business, you're going to have to proactively attack things, and every single day wake up with the things that you want to do, because if you don't, somebody else will basically determine your priorities for you. If you're sitting around at 10 o'clock, 45 minutes from now, and you don't have a plan of what you want to do, something will get dropped into your life, and all of a sudden your plan will be the subject of somebody else's wishes, wants, and goals. Okay. And that's, I'm not a heartless bastard. That's not 100% a bad thing. If your mom or your dad calls you and, they need your help in something, of course you're going to go do that. Okay. I'm overdue for a trip up to see my mom up in the Gig Harbor area. I like to tell people my mom's up in Seattle, but technically she's outside of Seattle, over across the water in a city called Gig Harbor. And actually, she's not technically in Gig Harbor. She's in a little city off of Gig Harbor called Purdy. And then technically she's not in Purdy. She's on a little city off of Purdy called Wanu. So you have to keep going deeper and deeper. But I'm overdue to go see my mom. I know 100%. And so that needs to be a priority for me. And when I get there, you know what? Mom's priorities become my priorities. Got to clean out the garage when I'm there. Got to clean out the tool shed. Got to do all kinds of stuff there. Zach, man, good to see you tuning in. Man, where you been? We missed you. Got to have some brilliance here. Got to love brilliant people like Karen and Zach and Anya and Linda Fogg Phillips. I see people watching over on Instagram. Also, I love it when really smart people tune in here. So, Zach, let me know. Karen, I don't remember where you are, but Zach, let me know where you are. Let me know where both of you are also, okay? But like I said, I'm going to wrap up that topic right there, is that just please make sure, especially in business, that if you don't have any priorities, if you don't have any goals, you will become the subject of somebody else's goals and priorities, okay? Not always a bad thing, but that's just what happens with your spare time. And I could go off on a whole thing about calendar management and time management and how I love it when every single block is filled. I may do that someday for a future show, a show or two down the line. Eric, Erie, Colorado. Cool. Just got done dropping off my first kiddo. About to drop off my second. Very cool. Man, it's been so many years since I've dropped off a kid to school. My brilliant daughter is 30 plus and living in Brooklyn. She's probably up right now sending me cat memes. That's what we do as a family now. We just send each other cat memes. That's part of adulting. Does anybody else just do that? Just send friends cat and dog memes? That is a big part of our family time now. It's just sending cat and dog memes. But man, Zach, I appreciate you tuning in. Karen, longtime friend, I appreciate you tuning in also. Um, what? Really cool thing happened yesterday. Well, two things, really cool things happened yesterday. Before we get into the main topic here, is number one is I was able to attend a local business mastermind. I was invited by a friend of mine, Amanda Dake, who runs Dakehouse. I believe her website is dakehouse.com, and she had a cool little intimate business mastermind over in Nichols Hills. For those of you that are familiar with Oklahoma City, it was a very nice restaurant we went over to that had, how normally a cup of coffee is 99 cents. Well, this is the kind of place where a cup of coffee was $6. And I know because I paid for a $6 cup of coffee before tip. But it was a very nice, small, intimate setting with three other women, and Amanda was up in front. And we just talked about lead generation and business and YouTube traffic. And I was there to learn as well as to contribute and support my friend Amanda. And it was just really nice to be in such a small, nice, quiet, intimate setting. We were in this back room in a restaurant, and there was nobody else in the entire restaurant, let alone the back room. And so we were able to have some nice, cool one-on-one conversations, and everyone was taking really good notes. And Amanda is just brilliant. Like I said, she's at amandadake.com. And I've met her at various business conferences, but she also lives here locally. So that was cool yesterday. But Amanda and I were kind of talking on and off about the HighLevel conference, which is coming up in December. And that reminded me that I had to buy my ticket. So I did that yesterday. And if you are a HighLevel user or a HighLevel reseller or a HighLevel agency, let me know in the comments, please. I am deep, deep in that world. I'm a HighLevel certified admin. And now, yay, we need some celebration. We need some celebration graphics. There we go. Yay. I have a ticket to the conference in Dallas. Okay. This is one of the easier conferences for me to attend because it's 3 hours down the road. So I don't even have to fly it. I can drive down there. Okay. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, just call me and buy HighLevel. No, HighLevel is a program that is the closest to the all-in-one piece of software you will see on the market when it comes to managing your leads, when it comes to putting in your courses, when it comes to putting in your forms on your website, when it comes to even building a website, okay? If you ever need anything like that, and if you go any place besides reaching out to me, I will personally take offense and I will personally be hurt, okay? But if you're the kind of person who's tired of having, multiple MailChimp accounts or Constant Contact accounts, or what else? WordPress. If you're just tired of all that tech, reach out to me and we'll talk. Okay, we'll talk and we'll get you all hooked up in HighLevel, and you'll thank me and you'll say, Patrick, why didn't you tell me about this 5 years ago? But anyway, the conference is October 21st through 24th, I think, in downtown Dallas at the Statler Hotel. And the biggest way I remember it is there's a big giant eyeball in a park not too far from there. That was the crowning party last year. Last year was my first time going. And the cool thing about getting in with the hardcore tech crowd is, since so many tech people are introverts, not me, I'm very much an extrovert. Since so many tech people are, you know what? I just realized that my lens is zoomed in a little far because I've got a good shirt on. Dang it. Let's see. We got to get the good shirt. It's my hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard shirt, which matches the topic today. I didn't realize that thing was zoomed in so tight. And nobody wants to see Patrick's head that big. Trust me. But anyway, these geeks, they work hard and they party hard. So we work hard during the day, and then we have some amazing parties at night. And this part of Dallas, there's this park with this giant freaking eyeball in it. And I wish I would have planned better and had I could have had like a little YouTube video of the eyeball, but it's very easy to search eyeball in downtown Dallas. So the last night of the conference, the last night of the full day of the conference, was raining. We had to take these giant tour buses to get to the place. But it was a cool party, cool like 80s 90s cover band, and there was a giant eyeball behind him. So I've got video of that giant eyeball. But excuse me, this was a part of Dallas I've never been in before, and it was very walkable, which I liked. I'm not staying at the event hotel, the Statler Hotel. I'm staying a couple blocks away because you know what? I don't I have a thing about paying for really expensive lodging when I'm never in there. And at a conference like this, when I get up early and I go to bed late, I literally go back to my hotel room every night. I shed my clothes, I sleep, I get up, I shower, I shave, I grab my stuff, and I head out. Okay, so I'm there for a minimal amount of time. And in cases like that where I'm not hanging out in my room a lot, I don't like spending a lot. So I got an Airbnb a couple of blocks away. And for those of you also that want to connect with me, because I have a lot of friends in that world, I'm going to be coming down. I think the opening night of the conference is technically like the 21st. Whatever it is, I'll be down there like a day early. So I got my Airbnb even a day early. And I'm going to be looking for some like a conference room or something in that area to have like a mastermind event where we basically kind of run through some of the more complicated parts of high level. So if you're someone who's interested in that and connecting with me the day before the full conference starts, for you non-VIP people, text me. I think the keyword is homeboy. Text homeboy to the number that shows up on the bottom of your screen in rotation, 405 217-4752, and I'm putting together a list of people who basically want to get into a conference room and walk through some advanced scenarios on high level. I will guide the event, but it'll be more like a group learning event. Everyone's going to bring their laptops. I'll make sure we have Wi-Fi, and this is all very much in the planning stages because I just bought my ticket yesterday. But I've always wanted to do that in an event, basically have like a pre-event, a pre-event not associated with the event, where we get together with people and we do some hands-on learning, because oftentimes in the event, either you're wandering up and down vendor row getting pitch stuff, or you are in the actual session when people are talking. A lot of times in these sessions, they don't talk technical stuff. They talk, at least in the keynotes, the big room sessions, they don't talk technical stuff. They talk philosophical stuff and they talk motivational stuff. But I wanna have a working session the day before. So if you're interested in that, text homeboy to 405 217 4752, and we will get a room and we will be happy and things will be amazing in Dallas. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So the main topic today is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Okay. I've heard this phrase various times, but one of them was in a motivational speech from Will Smith. I have an MP3 that's over in my Apple Music that is kind of it's kind of a montage of all these different motivational speeches he's done, and the thing is like somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. And one of them is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And what does that mean? Well, it means muscling through some things, okay? I believe that when we come out of the womb, I don't believe we have any talent coming out of the womb, okay? We're small, we're wet, we are messy, we stink, we have stuff coming out of every orifice in our body, okay? So the concept of being born with talent, I've never really bought into that, okay? You come out, everyone comes out the exact same way. You don't come out with more muscle, you don't come out with more business knowledge, okay? Two babies born side by side, you can't look at one and say, oh, that one's going to be a good athlete and that one's going to be, a brilliant scientist. We all start the exact same way. But what happens I'm not going to say in those early years, like the first 5 years, probably not. The first 5 years, we're just trying to stay alive. Okay, our parents are just trying to keep us alive, trying to prevent us from jumping off the stairs and killing ourselves, or rolling down the stairs and killing ourselves. Okay, but those later, almost like those later years, you get towards like maybe 6 through 10, or maybe 10 through 12. Some of us are around communities and parents where we learn a lot of really cool life skills. And I was just thinking about this before this stream because I was not born into that environment. I was never around that environment when I was a young child, okay? I don't remember my childhood too much, but I just remember I almost never lived in the traditional American household, okay? At a very young age, probably before I even remember it, I think I vaguely remember mom telling me I was adopted. And before that, when I was adopted, my mom was in jail when I was adopted from my blood mother or cellular mother, whatever you want to call her, into my adopted mom. The actual paperwork was signed in jail, so there was a chance. The Oh my goodness gracious, Christine. There's a woman who's a troublemaker in my life. She's a beautiful, beautiful troublemaker that I will take. Um, that I will take any time in my life. It's good to see you there, darling. Um, but some people, some parents are born into that kind of world. Excuse me. Some kids are born in that kind of world where they get a lot of early education. They have the standard, white picket fence. They have, parents around. I was never the person that lived a lot in a two-parent household. Number one, I was never a person who lived a lot in a male-female household, and some of you may or may not have some opinions on that. My mom's always been a lesbian, for example. There is nothing in the world wrong with that, but there probably are some advantages. I love you too, Christine, for life, girlfriend. I got to get out there sometime and hang out with you. We talk about the good old days. But there are probably some advantages to having some testosterone and some male influences in your life, which I did not have when I was younger. Okay, so I didn't learn about stuff like ratchets and hammers and tools and how to change the oil on our car. Okay, I was too busy messing with video games when I was younger and hanging out with Christine, my longtime friend here, Christine, probably one of my closest longtime friends. We were just running around causing trouble as teenagers and as pre-teenagers. Right there. You are the coolest mom on the planet. Oh, thank you. You know what, Christine? Both of our moms, we learned lessons from both of our moms, okay? Some good lessons, some bad lessons, but that's the way it works with parents, okay? We learned how we wanted to be, and in some cases, we learned how we didn't want to be. Okay, there are some things in my life that were influenced by your mother. 100%, I know that. But my whole point on this is, on those early years, there are some people that are taught cool things like business, like math, like that talk the advantages of like how to run a lemonade stand. I wish when I was really young, someone had taught me how to run a lemonade stand, how to run like a small, profitable roadside business. I don't know if I could have done that in North Hollywood, California, but just the idea of taking something, adding value, and reselling it would have been a really cool thing to learn when I was younger. And then in the later years, when you're going through like the junior high schools and the high school years, there are many opportunities where I could have been taught. Um, um, there are many opportunities where I could have been taught different things, which would have given me advantages in life, and either I chose to ignore them or they were not offered to me. And this is not a good or a bad thing. We just all had different paths in life, okay? And so in those like junior high school years, I didn't even think about the concept of going to college or how I would pay for it. My mom wasn't going to be able to pay for it. I know that 100%. There was no money saved for that. And so that so I guess what I'm saying is, as I got towards the later years, towards the post high school years, I didn't have those advantages of going to college. So my only option, remember earlier when I said when you don't plan for something, someone will plan something for you. My um my only option was the military. Yeah, Christine just airing out all my dirty laundry here, like driving across the city of North Hollywood with no driver's license. It's always fun when you have like an old high school friend, junior high school friend on your stream, and she's just like airing out all your dirty laundry. This is probably one of the few women in the world that could blackmail me with the stuff I did when I was younger. But so my choice post high school was military. And in the military, I still didn't know what I wanted. Okay. And so all those early education years before I became, a husband and a father, I missed a lot of opportunities. I wasn't disciplined. And so as I got later in life, I realized, oh, I've got to muscle my way through some stuff. And that's why I believe this philosophy, so deeply, is whether it comes to business, math, or, being athletic or entrepreneurship or just discipline. I didn't, for example, take like a college course where I had like homework, um, where I had like homework due inside my college courses. In high school, I was fairly good. I was always a high C, low B student. Again, due to lack of discipline. Was that part of my upbringing? Possibly, but I didn't have my discipline muscle exercised probably like I should have, which would have given me a lot of advantages. And this is the area here where, as I get later in life, like I said, I'm having to muscle my way through stuff and figure it out because it wasn't given to me younger. And not that I can't learn stuff, I'm learning stuff every single day. But for me to get to the point where I'm doing really good things these days, I've just got to buckle down and put my back into it. And yeah, Zach's bringing this up here, right here. Yeah, man, feel that. Grew up in foster care, was on my own early on. Yeah, I'm not going to say I was on my own early on, but I do remember, and Christine can attest to this. When I was younger, there was plenty of times in junior high school or high school where I was completely on my own. It was a single parent house. My mom was working, and as long as I wasn't going to jail, I could run around the streets of LA and North Hollywood with a bus pass and go wherever I want and do whatever I want and hang out with my cool buddies like Christine. I wasn't worried about things like business or discipline or going to the gym every day or staying in shape. I thought it was perfectly okay to eat a whole pizza by myself, and now it shows. I've got several probably of my high school and early 20s, 30s pizzas on my gut right here that I'm working hard to get rid of. But I consider those things that we learn from our parents at a very young age and the college things, I consider those where we acquire our talents, okay? You will learn, for those of you that attended college, correct me if I'm wrong, for those of you that attended college, you probably had a chance to learn early on what you were good at and what you sucked at, okay? You had 4 years of basically just time to absorb and learn things, okay? In the military, it's like that to a point, but you're basically already in the workforce, and so you're learning on the job. You don't get time to, you don't get time to fail. One of the cool things I miss about college is one of the cool things I miss about college is there's time to fail in college. Okay, there it was in the military also, but in college there's great times for you to make mistakes, for you to screw up, and they don't have any major decisions on or major impact on your life. In the military, you end up with court martials, you end up with going in the brig, you end up with all these things, even at a young age. So if you go in the military when you're 18 or 19, you make a mistake, you can make a mistake so bad that it gets you put in the military brig. You don't get a chance to make mistakes and get it blown off. Where, college professors, I think, are a lot more forgiving on this stuff. So all those early years are when you build up your talent. And then your talent either, goes into further education, like a master's or a doctorate degree, or you go out into the workforce, or you go work for somebody and you get to use that talent, okay? Again, I didn't have that path. It sounds like some of you on here didn't have that path also. So we've just kind of had to muscle our way through things. And I'll just kind of give you some examples here. Physical strength is one of them, okay? I wish when I say I wish, I'm not saying I regret, okay? I want to make sure I clarify that. I'm not regretting the path I've taken in life. I'm saying that I wish certain things had happened otherwise to give me some other advantages, okay? When I was, someplace in maybe the later years of elementary school, junior high school, and high school, I chose to be a band geek, okay? I was always hanging around band people doing band stuff, and I wish I had picked a sport and stayed with that sport. So I had, exercised and gotten the habit of being healthy and being disciplined. So I think at my size, in high school, I was pretty much the same height I am now, 6'1", 6'2". Back then, I was like 180 pounds. Now I'm 6'2", 260 pounds. I think I would have been probably very good at any kind of like football sport, soccer sport, baseball sport, anything like that. Football would have been awesome. And I remember the football players going over in like the gym and working out. I wish I'd had that workout muscle when I was, 16, 17, 18, 19, like I see the people in the gym now. I was at the gym this morning, probably 5:50 this morning, 6 o'clock this morning, and there are young kids in there working out. I had wish I had had that discipline and built up that discipline to basically keep myself healthy younger on. Again, the military allows you to skate away, which is being barely healthy. When I was in the Air Force, my only physical my only measure of physical success was once a year. I think we had to jog a mile in under some ridiculously long period of time, and I did it every year. It's 6 5 a.m. Hey Steven, man, good to see you tune in. Um, I appreciate students. That's 6 5 a.m. Christine, it's 5 a.m. every day. I'm awake at 5 a.m. Sometimes I don't get out of bed until 5:10, 5:15, but I'm awake at 5 a.m., darling, and go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. So I'm going to start waking you up at 9 a.m. too. And Christine brings up a really good point here. With my band geek guys, we were also computer geek guys, okay? And we did learn a lot of computer geek stuff, and that's how I've had my success in this world. But you had great knowledge, understanding of computers. We all knew you were going to be something. Wow, Christine, I appreciate that. And Stephen from the UK, man, I appreciate you tuning in. Long time buddy, right there. So, physical strength is something I wish I had had the discipline to learn younger. And since I didn't, my later years, my 20s, 30s, 40s, and whatever decade I'm in right now, I'm having to literally muscle my way through it. And I'm having to, shed weight. I'm having to build the discipline of going to the gym, which I'm pretty good about that now. I've been pretty good about that for, probably a decade or two, but I just wasn't that muscle, literally that figurative muscle. You have literal muscles and figurative muscle. That figurative discipline muscle wasn't burned into me when I was younger. And so I wish, I wish when I went into high school and, I remember walking on the campus. This is really where the things remember. I remember walking on the campus at North Hollywood High School your first year, and you're like going to like this pit where you have to register for all of your classes. And the different extracurricular activity groups were there, and they would try to recruit you to join theirs. There's a football team, cheerleading, creative writing club, Spanish club, and the band. The guy who was recruiting from the band was there, and I think I was in some line indicating I had some music knowledge, and they grabbed me and they said, "Oh, you're a band. You have music skills. You need to come join band." And they grabbed me, and I was dumb, and I'm not going to say I was dumb. Again, I didn't know what I didn't know at the time, and that's how I did 3 years of band in high school. Didn't join the. I was the guy up in the stands playing for the football team. I wasn't the guy on the field running the 40s for the football team. Okay. I wish someone from the football team had seen me and grabbed me before the marching band people did. I would have done 5 years, 3 or 4 years as a linebacker, excuse me, versus 3 or 4 years as a tenor saxophone player. Besides physical strength, something else that we're not born with or we're not taught at a young age that we have to muscle through is public speaking. Okay, I'm just kind of working my way through my list here. I wish when I was younger, um, um, I wish when I was younger that I had done more debate and more public speaking rather than, again, muscle my way through it and have to join Toastmasters later. I wish I had taken some acting classes, speaking of public speaking. I know that sounds lame, but the art of performing and storytelling, that can sometimes be a struggle for me now. Amy Carruthers, look at that. That is cool. Amy Carruthers just subscribed on YouTube. Isn't that cool? Isn't that pop up the coolest thing you've ever seen ever? Thank you, Amy Carruthers, for subscribing. I appreciate that. But public speaking early on was a struggle for me, especially being a computer geek. As my other computer geeks, my fellow computer geeks will know, sometimes public speaking can be a struggle. We're introverts. We're used to coding in HTML and PHP and MySQL and database all day. We're not used to getting in front of a stage and speaking. And this one I conquered early on, probably my mid 20s, because I worked at Hertz down the street, and I was probably one of the more extroverted people. And once you show a little bit of talent in other areas, people will sometimes peel that orange open. And so eventually I conducted a lot of classes of teaching like new software programs. And eventually that led me to going out on my own, and I was traveling the world for, oh goodness, several years, traveling the world in front of groups of computer geeks. I was the computer geek in front of computer geeks, teaching them how to do things with software. And so that one probably came a little bit more naturally to me than having to force it. But even later in life, I've I'll chime you. I'll chime you. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, I'll chime you back when I get a chance, Zach. Also, um, even later in life, I had to join Toastmasters. So has anyone here been like a Toastmasters member? Please leave a comment. But if you get to the point where you're later in life, or you're an adult and you want to have good public speaking skills, you're going to have to join a class. You're going to have to join a local college debate class. You're going to have to join a Toastmasters class of some sort. And I did. I joined Toastmasters. I learned some great skills there, and those have now carried me forward. I was a member of the National Speakers Association now, and occasionally I get called upon to speak on TV and to do like a keynote or a breakout session at a conference, okay? I've developed that skill. I just wish I had developed that skill when I was 9, 10, 11, or 12, okay? So after public speaking, business in general. Because I didn't go to college, okay, I never had any formal training in how to start and run a business. Okay, it just never happened, and it's something I wish I had had. Uh, I've something I wish I had had happen to me. The concept of what's the difference between an S corp, an LLC, or a C corp. I was the kind of guy that had to Google that later in life to to life. Yeah, Steven, I want to put Steven's comment up here real quick just so we can see what he said here. Got to bounce, but we'll make the effort to join your next live. Stop doing nothing applies to me, though I need to start exercising to curb my diabetes. Please, dude, take care of that diabetes. Please, please take care of that diabetes. I wanted to see you around for many, many years. And Christine said, I'm going to hop off. I love spending time with you here. You have to fill me in on how my mother influenced you in a positive way sometime. The world to you, Patrick. Love you. Bye. I love you too, Christine. Thanks for chiming in, girlfriend. I will talk to you AS. I will chime into you AS. I'll text you to ASAP. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Um, Hey, Stephen, love to you from the UK. So business in general, I wish I had taken college courses on entrepreneurship in businesses and what profit means, how to read a profit and loss statement, how to read, a cash flow statement, how to calculate percentages, how to calculate business costs, COGS, COGS, cost of goods sold is what I believe that means. All these cool business things that I basically had to Google in my life, I wish I had been taught at some point in time. I wasn't, so I had to buckle down and learn it. And then you get into things like MRR and ARR and churn, all these things of a subscription business, which I run now. Those are just really things I had learned there, and that gets me to my next topic, which on here list was business math. Again, I wish I would learn stuff like I know it sounds easy like income expense, but profit percentage, profit margin, payroll, overhead, real costs like real estate costs or business leases or phone, all that stuff that you're taught. It's funny because there's a story I like to tell about my entrepreneurship journey, and I'll just briefly dip into this. Um, when I left Hertz here locally, and I went on my entrepreneurship journey, on my very first business trip, I was very tight on cash, and I even think I checked into a hotel without the ability to pay for the entire amount yet, because I figured I was going to get paid while I was at the hotel, and so I would figure I'd just get the cash in while I was staying there because it was like a 2 week gig. And so eventually, so the end of my first week I was going to get paid weekly. That's what I was told. The end of my first week in business, I was like, okay, I've been done. When's that money going to show up, right? And they're like, what do you mean? When's the money going to show up? We don't have an invoice from you. We have no idea how to pay you. You're a contractor. I'm like, I thought I worked for you. They're like, no, contractors are businesses. They have to submit their own invoices, and then we will get the invoice into our accounting system, and you'll become part of our AP, our accounts payable, and then we will issue a check for you. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So I don't remember what day of the week it was, but I remember that I all of a sudden had to discover the concept of an invoice. I don't think I had a laptop at the time, so I literally went down to the hotel business center, fired up a version of Microsoft Excel, looked for an invoice template, and put in my 40 hours at whatever my rate was. I believe it was $100 an hour. 40 hours at $100 an hour, and printed that. And then I had to add my expenses. I think I added like a week of hotel and then maybe my plane ticket. I think I added that in there too. And then I printed that off. And then I think I went to the front desk of the hotel, who was very interested in seeing me getting money so they could get paid. And I'm like, how do I overnight this someplace? And a couple of blocks away, there was one of those like standalone FedEx boxes where you can just drop stuff in with credit card information and it will get sent off. And so it was, I believe this was in Iowa. It was freezing cold in the middle of the night. I walked to go find that box. And when I walked there, it was right around the time limit, like the last pickup of the day, like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And the truck was already there. And so I had to take the invoices in my hand, or the invoice in my hand, excuse me, and I had to get the envelope out and then like little sticky label you write on there. And I'm doing this while the guy is waiting for me, okay? He was very nice to wait for me. And I'm filling it out with like my debit card or my credit card information on there. And then I was able to give it to him and he drove off. So that was my introduction to entrepreneurship. I didn't know what a 1099 was. I didn't know what invoices were. I didn't know what AR was. I didn't know how to plan because, invoices don't get paid immediately and they're not always direct deposit. So I didn't know about any of that stuff. I was a fool when I first started in business. Wish I had taken some college classes on that and I would have known. And then my next topic here is marketing. I didn't go learn about any formal marketing. And this one, I'm kind of on the fence about as to whether or not this was a good thing or not, because in 2024, we there you cannot. There's a lot of stuff in marketing that cannot be taught. Okay, so this one I'm not sure I regret so much, but I wish I had learned like the foundations of marketing and like the foundations of copywriting. But there's stuff like live streaming, for example. There is no college course in the world that could teach me what you're saying today. There is no college course that would teach me about the right lights to buy, the right software to buy, the right hardware to buy. There is no college course in the world. There are online courses, but there are not college courses for that. So when it comes to the world of marketing and branding, I don't believe that there's a really good. So these are some of the last things on my list here I was going to cover. As I wish I would have learned to a point, marketing, networking, branding. But then again, I think about the good networking I've done in my life and the connections I've made, which has generated revenue for me, which has generated millions of dollars in revenue for me over the years. And those are things I couldn't learn in any kind of school. And I'll give you an example. I wrote down networking here. I've got like my list of notes of things I wish I had learned when I was younger. I wrote down networking here. Okay, I wish I would have learned the importance of shaking hands and kissing babies when it came to networking. Okay, it just would have been a nice skill to have. But my largest client ever, which was fairly close to $1 million, the way I learned about that person and connect with that person had nothing to do with any college course I took. Okay, that was a chance meeting in an airport here in Oklahoma City, very much pre-September 11th. And I connected with a lady who worked for the VA. We were, again, another story I love telling from stage. We connected about our mutual hate for waiting in the airport line. And may have been where maybe some of my social skills came into play, or maybe my public speaking skills. We were talking about, just the hate of the line. But there was like a senator that was like 5 people in front of us. I'm like, well, that person has to wait in line also. So I made a joke about that at the airport, we're all equal. If you're traveling, unless you're traveling on your own private jet, everybody at the airport's part of the cattle call. Looking excuse me, things are popping up on my screen. But that person ended up being it was a small government contract that turned into a larger and larger government contract. And like I said, that one was the closest single client I've ever had, which generated $1 million. And there's nothing in the world I could have learned in school that would have taught me to work with that client. So yeah, again, just the things, and there are just things in life that you have to. Getting back to the phrase, which is on my shirt here. By the way, let me know if you want one of these shirts. I can charge you a little bit of money and mail these to you. I generate some of my own shirts to remind me of things. But hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Meaning, if you weren't lucky enough, for those of you that have been watching for a little while, as we wrap up here, if you were one of those people that wasn't lucky enough to get those talents at a young age, and by talent, I mean you had friends, family, or a community that surrounded you to teach you some of those crucial life skills. That's what I call talent. I don't call talent by being dropped out of your mom on your head and, boom, marketing, or boom, entrepreneurship, or boom, public speaking. Okay, that's not talent. Again, all of us are wet and messy when we come out of our parents. There is no talent there at all. We are molds that have to be, we're blobs of clay or blobs of flesh that have to be formed. Okay, if you weren't lucky enough to be taught the things in the earlier years to give you talent, then as you get in your later years, you just have to become a really good Googler and a really good studier and a really good watcher of YouTube videos to learn this stuff. Okay, and my whole point of this phrase is, if you are somebody who does get those skills when you're younger and you don't apply them. So this is the entire summary of this phrase right here. If you are the person that does have those skills when you were younger, and all of a sudden you're 25 or you're 30 and you've had a life of college and you've taken all the business classes, all entrepreneurship classes, and you're just like wandering around, not knowing what to do with your time, not knowing what to do with your life, when you have a ton of talent. I don't use the phrase God-given talent because it's not God-given, it's human-given. Someone gives you talent. Regardless of your faith, talent comes from you and your discipline. But if you're someone who in your early years is given a shit ton of talent or taught a shit ton of talent, but you don't apply it, somebody like a Patrick of the world who applies the little talent they do have, people like me will outwork you. Uneducated, again, not that's not being used as a disparaging word, but people who don't have your talent can beat the people that do have talent by just putting in the work, okay? If you took a finance class for a year at college and you make nothing of it, or you have no idea how to use it when you get done with it, somebody like me who studies finance online and applies it and uses it every day in business, I would be a better CFO than you would, okay? Because learning something and not taking advantage of it will basically put you behind someone who does learn it and does take advantage of it. That's the entire summary of this entire 52-minute talk I've done so far. Is that people like me who know how to buckle down and learn something these days, when it comes for me to learning something, anything financial, anything business, anything branding, anything marketing, I don't even think I can't learn it, okay? I know that if I need to learn copywriting, which I've gotten a little bit better in recent days, I know, you know what? There's resources for me to learn copywriting. I will 100% learn copywriting. That is not ever going to be a problem, okay? If there's a skill that I need to learn, I can YouTube it, I can Google it, I can look it up. I was going to say like a thesaurus or an encyclopedia, but I don't think we have encyclopedias anymore. Anybody have an encyclopedia set growing up besides me? I remember that was a big part of our living room decoration was this set. There was a bookshelf of 2 rows of encyclopedias that my mom had purchased. It was a brown set, and the bookcase was brown. I used to just pull those out and flip through random things and read them. And each one, there was like 20 or 30 books in this set of encyclopedias. Each one was really heavy, could have been used as a weapon, and we had 20 or 30 of them. Anybody else? Raise your hand if you had a set of Encyclopedia Britannicas or something like that in your house. But so, one of my parting notes I did want to leave you with is if you are someone who is later in your years in life, and by later, I don't mean horribly, horribly later, I mean like, 30s, 40s, and you missed out on the college experience, and there are things you want to do in life that you don't believe you have the talent for. Let's say you're 45 and you want to get into bodybuilding, or you're 47 and you want to start up an agency like I run, or you're 49 and you want to be an artist. Please do not think that you cannot do those things, because even if you have no formal training, even if you don't have the money to go to college to learn these things, you can learn them online with enough dedication and library time and watching videos on YouTube and stuff like that. You are going to pick this stuff up. I 100% promise it. Okay. I have no problem saying, I'm 56 and I am not slowing down anytime soon. I hope to be going 90 miles an hour, the day I die, whether it's at the gym, whether it's doing something for business, whether it's speaking, giving, a keynote in front of 50,000 people. I hope to be going 90 miles an hour. I am not going to slow down anytime soon. So, even if you're past your formidable years, your college years, your learning years, there's plenty of stuff in the world you can learn. Okay, it's out there. Some of it's out there for free. If it's not out there for free, you can find guys like me who sell courses where you can learn this kind of stuff. Okay. For those of you who have watched and stayed on for the entire show, or even tuned in late, thank you very much. I got a couple of new subscribers because I saw the pop up there on the screen, which was very, very cool. I can't think of her name, who subscribed live on the show, but please make sure you go subscribe on YouTube. If you liked what I shared here, please feel free to either text me. There's been a number on the screen that you're going to text me a topic you want me to talk about, or message me privately on Facebook. And if you don't want me to even use your name, or if you have some advice, I won't even use your name on that, but please share that with me, because that will guide the future lives that I do as I project forward for the future lives. And when will the next one be? Because I'm sure that was on top of your mind right there. The next one will be Monday at 9 a.m. U.S. Central. And we are live 3 days a week, Monday at 9 a.m. Central. Why? Because Patrick needs content. Patrick loves teaching. And this is a way for Patrick to kick his own ass every single day. 3 times a week, and generate content and fulfill his love of teaching and fill that bucket while I fill your bucket. So again, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, as always, subscribe on YouTube if you want to get notifications, or text in to the number again that's been rotating out throughout the screen, 405 217-4752. And I think Zach was watching. Zach, if you're still watching, let me know when you start your YouTube channel, buddy, so I can go over there and give you some love on your YouTube channel also, okay? If you have any questions about how the hardware or software I'm doing, because I actually get those questions a lot. Some of my biggest questions about live streaming are, how do you live stream? How do you get started? How do you buy the stuff? What equipment do you buy? I've got some strong opinions on that, and I will gladly give you some advice there also. So everyone, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, September 27th. And just go out and be nice to each other. When you order food today, use someone's name, okay? They will love that. It'll definitely make someone's life better, okay? Have a great day. And my friends, we will see you Monday at 9 a.m. Central. Take care.